Hi everyone, it's Rosanne Clay here from Soulful Earning, and in this video I want to teach you about an amazing transformational tool that I love to use called tapping. Tapping has its roots in acupuncture points. It is used to release negative emotions. Now, one thing people don't necessarily become aware of is whenever you feel an emotion, there's actually a physical component to it. So I want you, for example, to imagine a really sad moment and notice the physical sensations in your body. So, think of maybe a really sad moment in a movie where someone died or something like that. And just, if you get into that mode, notice the sad thoughts that come up in your mind and the feelings in your body, and you might even notice that your body's starting to droop when you start to feel sad. And now I want you to imagine a really happy moment. It could have been something that just happened today or yesterday, or something in a movie where you just feel really elated and really excited. And notice what happens, the sensations in your body and the thoughts that go through your mind are actually very different. And in fact, when people are happy, they tend to sit upright more because there's a different type of flow in their body. So I just want you to be aware that when you feel an emotion, there is a mind-body aspect to it. There's what you feel in your body, the sensations in your body, and there's also the thoughts that run through your mind. And so when you have negative emotions and you want to release those negative emotions, you need a mind-body tool to release it. And tapping is just the most wonderful mind-body tool. It's a very simple, effective tool to release negative emotions. There's been a lot of research done of how tapping has been used to rewire negative thought patterns in the brain and shift them to positive ones. And there's even been case studies done of war veterans who have had post-traumatic stress disorder, and they've actually released all the trauma and all the stress, and they've actually gone on to live very normal, healthy, wonderful lives. If you are interested in the research and that sort of thing, I'll put the links in the description so you can see that. There's also an online tapping world convention which draws over 500,000 people every year. So it is used by hundreds of thousands of people all over the world because it works so beautifully, because it's so effective, okay? And what I want to do now is just jump straight into teaching you the tapping technique, because it is really easy and it's beautiful to use anytime you're feeling stressed, anxious, worried, or are just going through some negative whatever. And in fact, it's even great to use if you want to enhance a positive affirmation. Okay, so the very first thing to know is that you use two fingertips to actually do your tapping. And the first point we use is the karate chop point right here. Okay, so just tapping on the fleshy part on the side of the hand. Okay, that is called the karate chop point. And we often use this point as a starting point to just state what our issue is. Okay, so tapping there. And the next point is on the eyebrow. Okay, so again, using two fingertips, tapping on the eyebrow. Now make sure you're not hitting between the eyebrows, and make sure you're not hitting the middle of the eyebrows. It really is on the eyebrow point, just on the edge there. Okay, the side of the eye is the next point. Now this is actually on the bone, so you're not hurting yourself and you're not hitting your temple. It is on the bone. That's the side of the eye. And then under the eye, again, it's on the bone, so not the fleshy part, not too low on the cheek. It is under the eye on the bone. All right, that's the under the eye point. And then we go under the nose. So it's actually this cleft right here in the middle, but using two finger points, you can hit that. So just tapping along, usually tap along 8 to 10 times on any one point, but it doesn't matter if you go longer or shorter. And now we call this the chin point, but it's actually just under the lip, and it is just in that little cleft between the lip and the chin. That is the chin point. Okay, so in my diagrams, when I say chin point, this is the point that I mean. Okay, and then there's the collarbone point. Now notice these two bony parts of your collarbone. If you come out a little bit and down, there's like a little dent in there. In that dent between the rib cage bone and the collarbone, there's a fleshy part, and it's actually the fleshy part that you want to tap. And you can use 4 fingers, you can use 1 finger, you can use 2 fingers to tap this point. You can do it on one side with one hand, you can use the same hand on the other side. It really doesn't matter, as long as you're hitting the point, one of the points. Okay, so that is the collarbone point. And some people like to tap all the way up the collarbone because there's a lot of release of tension that happens there as well. Okay, but mainly you'll see people tapping right here. Okay, now you may not be able to see this, but there's a point which is under the arm. Okay, and sometimes I use that, sometimes I don't. Often when I'm tapping with my kids, I call this the monkey point because you look like a monkey. Ooh, ah, ah, ah. Okay, so it's under the arm. For women, it's around the bra strap, but it is about there. Okay, and then there's the wrist point. So along this line here, you can see the crease in there. You want to tap with all 4 fingers, so you hit that whole line. Okay, that's the wrist point. Now there's one of my favorite points, which not many people use, but I love using this because it's so effective. Okay, and it's called the gamut point. And so in between your little finger and your ring finger, there's a V. You come down into the gap between those 2 bones, and you just use 2 fingers and you tap in between the gap there, so not on the bone, but in between. And that is called the gamut point. And I love finishing on that point. Now, a lot of people also use the top of the head, okay? And they just use the palm of their hand to tap on the top of the head. Now, be really gentle with this point because it is a very sensitive area, okay? Some people just tap very lightly with their fingertips as well. So you can choose either. You can ignore it if it is actually starting to get very sensitive, okay? So those are the tapping points. Now I want to go through an example with you of how or when you use the tapping. Okay, so I want you to picture something that has caused you a bit of stress lately. It's caused you a bit of anxiety. Okay, imagine that scenario, something that might have happened yesterday or the day before, today, whatever, and you're feeling a little bit of anxiety. Okay, and I want you to rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. We always do the rating so that we can really get in tune with whether or not our emotions are intensifying or detensifying. And the reason why we do that is because if our emotions are intensifying, it means that we're getting more in tune with that negative emotion, and we're actually like we were suppressing a lot of it, and so now we're actually allowing it to come up so that we can release it. And if it's decreasing, then that's great because it means you're actually getting the healing work done. You're releasing the negative stuff that's happening in your brain. Okay, so thinking of that anxiety, you've rated on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is it's very intense, or 0 is you're not feeling any anxiety. And we're going to start tapping on the karate chop point. Even though I'm feeling this anxiety, I'm open to releasing it. Okay, so just repeat after me as you follow along. Even though I'm experiencing this anxiety, I would really like to release it. And I am open to letting it go. Even though this situation is causing me a lot of anxiety, I am willing and open to releasing it. And I honor these emotions. All right. All this anxiety, I'm feeling it in my body. I'm feeling the stress in my body. It's really intense. This anxiety. I'm becoming aware of it, running through my nervous system. I can feel it running through my body. All this anxiety. It is really intense right now. And I am open to releasing it. Whew, I'm just going to breathe that out. All of this anxiety. There is so much anxiety happening right now. I'm becoming really aware of the anxiety that I had suppressed. It feels like it's intensifying. But that's okay, because it just means I'm going to be able to release it all. It just means I'm getting present to my anxiety levels. And now that I'm aware of it, I can let it go. I am releasing all of this anxiety. am free to let it go. I am honoring these feelings and emotions that have been causing this anxiety. I am ready to let it go. Because I don't want to hold on to this anxiety anymore. It's causing me enough stress. And it's causing me enough physical discomfort that I really want to let it go. I am open and ready to let this go. All of this anxiety. I am releasing it now. All this anxiety. I don't want it anymore. All of this anxiety. I am letting it go. I am rewiring my nervous system to release this anxiety. All this anxiety. It is safe to let it go now. All right, so now just take a nice deep inhale and then release all that air out. Okay, and the reason why we do that is because your nervous system is getting reprogrammed right now. So taking a nice deep breath just allows your nervous system, allows fresh oxygen into your body to just let that energy go, let that negative emotion go. Okay, so I want you to just check in with your anxiety levels on a scale of 0 to 10 and notice how you're feeling now. Has the number intensified or has it gone down? Okay, so for most of you it would have gone down, and even if it's gone down 2 points, there will be some kind of clarity that comes through about releasing that anxiety, some clarity about what you can do to resolve the situation that caused the anxiety, or some kind of clarity about what was really causing the anxiety in the first place, and maybe there's some other limiting beliefs that are there that need to be worked on, and you can use tapping to clear that. Okay, so if it's the case where you found that there's some other beliefs that have come up, some limiting beliefs that are really blocking you from releasing the anxiety, put it in the comments below, and I will create a tapping video for you to help release that. Okay, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.